In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up proxies for VR footage using Premiere and Adobe Media Encoder. So I have a project here that's using multiple tracks of stereo 5.7K 180 VR footage. And I know from experience, at some point, having too much of this is too much for my computer to properly handle. I've tried turning down the playback resolution as a way of dealing with it. But once you are editing lots and lots of tracks of high-res VR footage and putting effects on each of the clips and things like that, at some point it just becomes useful to be able to proxy lower res footage that's also in a codec that is easier on your editing computer. So let me show you how to make that happen. We're going to open up Adobe Media Encoder, and we're going to go down to the preset browser and hit the plus that says create new preset. We'll eventually make both an encoding preset and an ingest preset in this process, but we'll start with the encoding preset. So for format, we're going to base this preset on QuickTime and then Apple ProRes 422 Proxy. This happens to be a codec that is fairly easy on processors, and because it's designed for proxies, it doesn't have to worry about the final quality of it, but good enough for proxy work. If you are used to working with Avid or just Windows workflows in general, DNX is also an option. But now that Adobe supports ProRes across both platforms, I like that one. So we are going to make our base off of this preset, but we're going to change some things to be specific for our project. So down here under the video tab, we're going to start scrolling down, and we're going to change based on source. We're going to uncheck that. And we're going to hard code these in. Now, the footage I'm working with comes from the camera at 5760 by 2880. I'm going to cut that in half for my purposes. So that's 2880 by 1440. If you're working on a computer where this resolution setting still is too much, you could cut it in half again. So that'd be 1440 by 720. Obviously, if you've shot stuff on a different camera that has a different resolution, try to make it a fraction of that original resolution. And this proxy process is the same whether you're doing VR or not. So just if you shot 8K or something and you want to bring it in as 2K, you can do that stuff here too. It's only now, when we scroll down further, that we will make a VR specific change, and that's down at the bottom of the video tab. VR video needs to say video is VR. And then we get some extra options. So this needs to agree with whatever you shot and whatever you're trying to edit. So I think it's very common that with VR video, people use mono 360. It so happens, coming off the heels of the previous tutorial, the footage I'm using is stereo. It's three-dimensional, and natively from the camera, it's encoded stereo side by side. Each eye is put as its own separate video side by side in a 2:1 aspect ratio file. So anyway, I know I have stereo side by side footage, and it's 180 footage. So the horizontal field of view is 180. So I'm going to set that. And now that I've set this all up, I want to bring our attention back up to the top and name this. It's the first thing, so you might think I should have done this first, but I want to name it based on all those settings I just made. So it can be useful to know what settings you made first before you give it a name. So we're going to call this Views ProRes 180 Stereo 2880. And that's meaningful to me because I know it's for footage from my views camera. It's in ProRes, and this is specifically for 180 stereo footage, and I'm knocking it down to 2880 resolution. So take the notes that are worth taking to you, but as you start to build up a group of saved presets, it can be useful to know which one's which. So I like to have my preset name tell me all the information I need to know. Now I'm going to hit OK. And we're going to go hit that plus again, and now we're going to create an ingest preset. This preset is going to be similarly named Views ProRes 180 Stereo 2880. And I'm going to go down and make sure transcode files to destination is checked. The destination can be a folder you like to use for your Premiere projects. And we're going to choose QuickTime as the format. And then under the preset, we're going to use the preset we just made. So that was the Views ProRes 180 Stereo 2880. Now we click OK. Finally, we're going to right-click on that ingest preset we just made, which if you name them both the same, the format will tell you which one is which. So this one is an ingest. Perhaps you might want to add ingest to the name if that bothers you as well. But I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to export preset. This export can be saved to your general folder where you put all of your Premiere projects, or it can specifically be put into the folder in the project you're working on now. Now we're going to hop back to Premiere. So in the project window, you can right-click on any of the footage that you want to make proxies for. And if you want to get a lot of it, you can either click and drag a box or hold Control on a PC, or I think it's Option on a Mac, and select all the relevant clips that you want to make proxies for. Right-click, and then we're going to go to Proxy and Create Proxies. So here we will look for this Add Ingest Preset button, and we're going to find that .epr file that we just made. Here is the preset we made for Views ProRes. I'm going to hit Open, and we get a choice between saving the proxies we're about to make immediately next to the original media in their own subfolder named Proxy, or we can specify some specific place. I like this first option. It seems organized to me, and so I'm going to hit OK. And now it has made a queue in Adobe Media Encoder, and it's even started processing that queue immediately. So as we see these progress bars finish up, we will have proxy footage automatically linked in our Premiere project. And when we go back, I'll show you the last step to be able to toggle those proxies on and off. Okay, all done. And just to prove it to you, here is my project folder. Here is the original footage, those 3 MP4s. And here is the proxies folder that Adobe made automatically for us. And inside of it, we have QuickTime MOVs in ProRes that are rendered out proxies. Now we jump back to Premiere, and switching to proxies is as easy as clicking this Toggle Proxies button. It's 2 rectangles with arrows pointing at each other. If you don't have this button on your VCR controls, so to speak, on the program window, you can add it using this plus sign, the button editor. If it's not down here already, you will find it here in the list of controls. You can just click and drag that and drop it on your toolbar there. And when it's on, we're working with the proxies, and that should be a lot easier on your computer. There will be visual evidence of this. You know, the quality will go down a bit But when you go to export, Premiere is smart enough to export with the original footage, not the proxies. Should you ever need to check how it looks, even just in still frame or something without the proxies, you can toggle proxies off. And like I say, it only makes proxies for the footage you've told it to. So if there's footage that doesn't need to be made into a proxy, maybe it's standard def footage that you're combining in a collage style with the high def footage, you can just leave that stuff be and it won't be affected at all by this toggle proxies button. So that is how you can create proxy footage that could make your editing in high resolution VR video work a little better on a computer that's having trouble with high res footage.